Hey, what's happening, you guys? It is Tuesday night, which means this is Tuesday Night Fever. And we have a special one tonight because tomorrow, Will and I have something really big coming up. And it's something we haven't done in, almost 6 months. We are running a live training. Some people call it a webinar. We like to call it a live training. And I want to talk to you about the realities of putting something like this on, how we actually accomplish it. And really, when it boils down to it, I want to talk about the 3 keys to us for marketing something like an online webinar. And if you're on here on the live stream, I'd love you to say live. If you're on the replay, come on in and say replay. Because what we're going to talk about tonight is how Will and I have approached this over the year and a half that we've done it. And I'll get into the specifics of how we kind of market this for ourselves. I think a lot of it will apply to you, whether you're marketing for your own clinical practice or whether you want to build something online. I'll walk you through the 3 steps that I look at when I'm creating something like this. I actually kind of want to show you my campaign as well. But then I just want to have some real talk for a minute about what it's like to run an online business and the not glamorous truth of it all. We're going to be pulling back the curtain a little bit tomorrow as well, but I want to talk about that tonight. So if you're coming on here on the replay, hit me up, say replay. If you're on the live, say live, like I just said, so I can see that you're here, which, by the way, we really appreciate you being in healthcare digital marketing. Just means the world to Will and I to have such a tight-knit community of people that are all working towards the same thing. We just feel like for us, the big driver behind everything that we do is to be able to give people options in life. In large part because that's what we value. We've built an online business because we wanted options for how we spent our time, options for how we work, options for when we work, for who we work with. And we just want to be able to provide options to healthcare providers because the skill set that we have is so dang valuable that we should be able to have options with how we use that. And the current state of healthcare, the status quo, does not give people options, or at least we don't think that we have options as providers. And we're here to tell you that you've got lots. And even though Will and I right now aren't treating in the clinic, because of the skill sets that we've created for ourselves, we can have an impact on patients in the thousands now instead of one-on-one. And it's so cool to see what online business has done from an influence perspective for us and our ability to help lots of people, which I love that about online business. But too personally, it's done so much. I mean, I'm sitting here right now. I've got my home office, right? And maybe let's start with this. So this whole idea of like, oh my gosh, it's so incredibly glamorous to work from home and be your own boss. I agree. It's amazing. And it does. I freaking love being able to go be at home and schedule my day how I want it to be. So for example, I want to work out in the mornings and I want to start my workday at 9 a.m. So I do. I wake up early, some days really early. Today I was up at 4 and I get some work done. I go to the gym. I come home for an hour to an hour and a half and take care of my family as we get ready with breakfast. We sit down and get to eat breakfast together. We read scriptures together. We kind of have a family powwow of what's on our plate for the day. I help get the girls ready, and then I start my workday. And that is absolutely amazing. I love that part. The non-glamorous part is I work from home. And so there's screaming kids in the background sometimes. Y'all see my kids like come on live streams. I have this beautiful black backdrop, but if I were to show you behind it, which maybe we're gonna do a tour for just a second. Let me. All right, I think we're back. I totally failed on my on my trying to give you guys a tour. If you could still see me, just let me know. Who knows if this actually worked? I forgot that my computer was in airplane mode, so when I unplugged my internet and everything went goodbye. I'll see if I can even see the live stream now. The realities of doing stuff online, you guys. Hey, I think I'm still live. Cool. If you can still see me, let me know. Facebook tells me I'm live, so we're just gonna keep on rolling. Well, what you didn't see is I'm in my daughter's bedroom. And it's not all that like perfect. Okay, there it is. We got like princess shoes on the floor. Her bed is right back behind this thing. And that for me is the reality of an online business. Love it to death, but it is not as glamorous as people think. And it takes a lot more than people think to make it happen, but it is totally doable. And so I just want to walk you through today how we actually run this business. What is it that brings people in for us? How are we executing our launch? And this is something I talked about last week, in that tomorrow we've got this live training that we're doing, right? And for us, we're announcing a new program. We're super stoked about it. We've been putting together like our new client welcome package. We call it the shock and awe package. I don't know if you've heard that term before. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. We're getting all this sweet custom swag for the people that we're going to be working with. And but it takes a lot of work to set this up. So let's talk about the marketing side of things. I got to catch up on comments because y'all are coming in hard and heavy on here. Thank you for those who are with me. Let's see. By the way, Mark says, now I see you. Luis says, yes, I'm there. Awesome. I went black for a while. Yeah, it's rough. Luis says, I feel you. I don't have screaming kids, but I have chickens and dogs in the background. Yeah, that's reality. Chelsea says, oh, snap, she actually made it live. Russ is on live. Karen's on live. Thank you all so much. All right, so let's talk about our marketing for a webinar. First thing is you've got to reach out to people who already know you. And if you've been building an audience for a while, then this part's easy, right? You go towards where people find you. This is why we have stuff like our Facebook Pixel installed, so that someone who comes to your website, boom, you can go pixel them, right? And then send them ads. This is where having an email list comes in really handy. So we've been sending out emails leading up to this. If you haven't seen one of our emails, maybe you're not on our list, maybe you unsubscribed, or maybe you just didn't actually open it. But we've been sending out I think we've sent out 2 so far. We're sending out another in the morning. I don't love email, so I'm not using it, but it's really interesting to see people's response to email. People still use it, and it's driven about 50 signups for us by sending 2 relatively easy emails. You got to find people that already know you. So for a lot of you, it's going to be your personal Facebook profile. I'm about to make a post on mine. If y'all see it, by the way, I would love you to just comment on there that you're excited. That would help me tremendously. But you've got to start where you can find people, right? Start with your current audience. Step 2, and I'm going to make this short because it doesn't have to be super complicated. Step 2 is you've got to find the message that hits home best. I would say you've got to test the messaging that works best. So for example, let's do some screen share here for just a minute. Last night, I set up an ad. A lot of you have probably seen it because we target you in ads. Go figure. So I set up an ad yesterday. Here it is, live training ad. And I set it up going to 3 audiences. This one's turned off, but there's 3 audiences. And what I always do is I test 3 different text variations and 3 different headlines. And I actually was going to live stream the entire thing. Zoom wouldn't work for me to do it. So I had the recording. If anyone wants the recording of how I set up all of my ads, I'm happy to send it to you. Just comment recording and I'll post it either tonight or tomorrow and tag you in it if you'd like to see the recording. It took me about 20 minutes, but I set up 27 different ad variations to 3 different audiences. And I ran the numbers. We put about $30 behind it to get numbers to see which one turned out best. And go figure, the very first ad variant that I made was not the best. So here was my text 2 headline 3. This was our clear winner. And when I was thinking back about this, it was like, oh man, I'm so glad I didn't just stop at like, here's what I think I should put in my ad. And I put it down. It took me about 2 minutes to write it. And then I was like, okay, sweet, I'll post this. And I was like, maybe I should test something different. And when I test my messaging, I try to be fairly drastic in the difference. So real quick, I'll just show you. Let's just see here what it looks like to actually split test something. And this kind of blew my mind. So the very first text variation, let's go. Some of it didn't get approved, which is ironic because they did approve other ones here. But check this out. So this was my very first text variation. Feel free to pause this here if you're on the replay. But I took kind of a more marketing approach to it, like a classic marketing. I don't know. Most healthcare providers are trying to start a business the wrong way. Now, I actually don't like negative messaging, which now looking back, I see this. It's like, this is negative messaging. Go figure, it didn't work. So this was the very first one I did it. So again, very, very negative in tone. I don't usually like to do that. And it was by far the worst. I had 4 clicks on this one total. 4 clicks on this one, okay? Then I moved to the second message where I was like, all right, maybe I'll do a more personal one. And this was the text that you guys are seeing on this post right now. This is the one where I talked about the truth about running an online business as a healthcare provider. And this isn't the initial one. I have to go to the initial post to be able to see it. But I just said, hey, this is what it's really like. If you've seen this video, you know that I'm sitting here talking about my nice home office setup, but the reality of it is, hey, I've got my kid's bedroom in the back. And that's what my text is reflective of. Here's the truth. I have a home office. It's great, but it also happens to be my 5-year-old's bedroom, AKA, this is what it's really like to run an online business. But I do have the things that I really want. Control of when I work, how I work, and with who I work, or with whom I work. And these are, again, I know that these are core desires of you guys, of all of us. And this one just killed it. Absolutely killed it. I had 47 clicks on this one. Again, 4 on the other, 47 on this one. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't test it. Okay. And then I had a third variation that had something like 20 clicks, right? A little bit better than the first one, but not by a whole lot. This one was more talking about, hey, why don't they teach us this in PT school? Again, negative, right? It's kind of a negative connotation where looking back, I just didn't super love it. Didn't do too bad, right? 20 clicks on this one, so relatively. But the key with this is I didn't know what messaging would work. I'm just not that magical. I don't know what's going to work. And so I test it and I figure out here's what does work for us based on data. And because we know how to run ads now, that becomes a lot easier. Early on, you don't have to do that though. You can test on live streams. You can test by putting out content and seeing what the response is like. Test, test, test. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3 is just frequently getting in front of people. And it's so funny. You would think that people get sick of hearing you. And if you're on this live stream, maybe you're sick of hearing me. That could totally be the case. But to be honest, most of the time when you go live on Facebook, a very small percentage of people actually hear you. Or when you send an email, if you're lucky, 30% open it. Frequency is what gets us over the gap of hitting people when they're busy and are not able to respond or are not able to tune in. So for example, this isn't the time that I usually go live. This is quite a bit earlier than I usually go live on Tuesday nights. Kind of happened to be good for me because my family's home tonight and I want to go eat dinner with them. But right, the frequency of getting in front of people over and over and over and not feeling like, oh, they're going to see this multiple times. Sure, if they do, they might, but they'll probably just scroll past it. It doesn't matter. They're not going to hate you for showing up. Most people don't show up enough to get noticed because they fear that by showing up too much, they'll put people off. I would say the 8 of you sitting on the live stream right now, the hundreds that will watch this after and listen to it on the podcast, most of us aren't showing up frequently enough. And I put myself in that camp too, because I know that I don't show up frequently enough. Most of the time, people actually do want to hear from you if you're giving good stuff. And if they're too busy, sweet, they'll scroll on past you. But for us, as we're promoting this live training, if I just put out one post and then I'm done, I'm maybe hitting 10% of my total audience. And so for us, Ballista says she's guilty. Yeah. Sherry, good to see you on here. As we're putting ourselves out there, we just keep thinking, they're gonna keep seeing this message over and over. You know what? They're not. There's just so much noise out there that most of the time you get just such a small percentage of time where you can get someone's attention. long enough to get them to take action on something. So you got to put yourself out there. So for us, we're sending out multiple emails, 3, 4, we'll probably send out 5 by the time we actually go live tomorrow. I'm posting on it in here multiple times. I'll post on my personal profile. People are going to see it. Gosh darn it, because I know the stuff that we have is good. And because I know that the stuff that we have is good, I have an obligation to put myself out there enough for people to see it. And I want you to adopt that same attitude. So in summary, Brooke, as you're coming on, Susan, as you're on here, Karen, Russ, Ashley, Mark, building an online business is totally doable for you guys. And I only say that because we've done it. We don't have a huge audience. We have an audience of about 2,300 people. And if you watch the ad that we just put out, I think yesterday we just hit the $250,000 mark in our business in terms of income, which for having a small audience blows my mind. You don't need a gigantic following. You need to create community. Tomorrow on our live training, we're going to show you how to create that for yourself. We're going to talk about a program that we've come up with after a year and a half of doing this. We've come up with a really cool program to help people do this and give them access to us at a really high level. We're going to be working with a small group of people coming up over the next few months. And we're going to give an opportunity for people to apply to work with us. But even if you're like, look, I just want the information, then sign up, come tomorrow. And I didn't even say this, but if you're not signed up yet for tomorrow, I just want you to put invite below. Just comment invite and I'll send you the invitation to tomorrow. This isn't just for PTs either. We're actually going to start opening things up a little bit more because we know that the things that we teach, we know that others out there are going to be able to implement it. So for someone like Brooke, who has family who's trying to build an online business, Brooke, your family should listen to this too. If you've got someone in your life who wants to create more options for themselves, they want to build online, they want to create an income stream for themselves online, comment invite. I'll send you the invitation to it. You can forward it to friends and family. I'm really excited because this is the first time I will have invited family onto a live training for me, which is really scary. But I'm inviting my dad and I'm inviting my brother, probably even my mom, because both my dad and brother are creating online businesses for themselves. And there's some really key things that I'm super excited to share with them. Kelly said invite, Karen said invite. And she also said, I did a Facebook Live the other day and it ended up in my story. It disappeared today. Not sure why it ended up as a story, not as a regular post. Probably because you hit the story option rather than as a regular post. But you're showing up in front of people and people like stories because they're there for a little bit and then they go away. So kudos to you for doing that. I totally love that you're doing that, Karen. I'll send you both the invite here at the end of the live stream. But I just want to end tonight by reinforcing the fact that if you want to build an online business for yourself, you totally can. Totally can. You just have to focus on the right things. And a lot of times people online that we see aren't focusing on the right things. And so that's our intent tomorrow, is to help you know what you should focus on so that you don't waste time on stuff that isn't going to actually build a business for you. And that's what I'm excited to share tomorrow. So guys, can't wait to see you tomorrow. We'll post a couple times before now and then probably about it. But this is our marketing plan. Number one, you got to go to the people who already know you, which is why you need to build an audience. Number two, you got to figure out what's the message that's going to work best. And you test that through your content. We use our content as sort of a laboratory to find out what people respond to best. And then you got to show up frequently. Because if you're showing up once every couple months, ain't nobody going to be following you. You got to show up consistently. Okay. Lisa says invite just in case. Yep. If you're not on there, Ashley says invite. I know we just hit the 100. We got 110 people-ish signed up. It's going to be a little bit more of an intimate, smaller training. We haven't gone out publicly and put a lot of this out there yet. We really wanted it to just be for our people who've been following us, AKA you guys on here. So it's going to be a smaller setting than some of our trainings in the past, which we're really excited for. But thank you so much, you guys. You can totally do this. I work out of my kid's bedroom. It's not glamorous. I don't have the best setup in the world, but we've made it work. I never had classic business training. I've never taken a marketing class in college. This is all stuff that I've learned after I graduated from PT school. You can totally do it. We can help you get there faster. If you show up tomorrow, we're going to show you a way to even do it faster. and not make some of the mistakes that we have early on. And I can't wait to show that. So thank you guys so much. Go make it happen for yourselves. And we will see you on the live stream tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Comment invite below. I'll get you the stuff sent. Jared, comment invite below, man. You should be on there. You're rocking stuff online. And next level for you, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the live stream and next week on Tuesday Night Fever. Peace out.